specific skills that people can learn to promote resilience, and some of it can be about how to recognize that sometimes we can fall into negative thinking styles or self-fulfilling prophecies or vicious cycles. So if I'm having a really rough day and I'm going home and I'm thinking I can't do anything right, where is that coming from? I often think about being a friend to ourselves, so that we often, if a friend comes to me and says, had a really rough day, nothing seemed to go right, this is the wrong job for me, I can't do anything right, I'm a failure, I'm very quick to say, no, let's look at all the things that were going well. Let's think about how you were doing yesterday. Let's think about all of the accomplishments you have. And I think we marshal that kind of evidence for our friends and encourage our friends to think more flexibly and hopefully, but maybe aren't as good at doing that for ourselves. So I think a lot of teaching resilience is helping people to be that friend for themselves as well.
We all would like to think that we, can manage our emotional responses, that we have the ability to self-regulate and step back and kind of take a different perspective of what is being brought up in the moment, because there are a lot of things that are emotionally very tense, but also laden in terms of things that are being said.
I usually observe, listen actively, and remain calm and assertive. Practice it daily. What used to really take me there doesn't. I've trained myself not to overreact, not to push the panic button, not to feed into it.
Managing emotional responses can be really challenging because, we hear a lot of things, we see a lot of things, and it's hard to sometimes not respond. But I think just remembering that sometimes that first response isn't always the best response.
I think it's trying to restore that sense of balance. So what is it that you do when you're not at work that gives you pleasure? And then on the job, are there things that are self-care activities that you can do to make yourself feel more at peace, get a sense of balance?
I think each individual finds the things that relax them, and I think it's important to go to those strategies when we're feeling a little out of balance and there's some stress in our lives. Many times just having another person listen, maybe offer some thoughts, or just listen to realize that you're not by yourself and another person cares about you.
Does it mean getting up and taking a 15-minute walk around the block and to hear some birds and to see some trees or to look at some flowers? So very practical kinds of things, or even things like accessing what I think rejuvenates. One is a critical piece of the problem-solving piece too.
A sense that I can make a difference in this world, that there are things in this world, there are people in this world, there are ideas that matter to me, and that I'm connected to those, that I can make a difference to those people, to those values. So I think a sense of mattering, a sense of purpose, a sense of meaning is also really fundamental to resilience.
And I do really try to, when I leave work, to leave work there. And when I go home, I try to be present for my family and my children and to take pleasure in the things that I get to do with them, because to me that's rewarding and helpful and gives me a lot of joy.
Children are my source of joy, and they're my source of hope. And anytime I'm in close proximity to children, it seems like they just give that off at all times. And so oftentimes when I'm feeling hopeless, I go to a place where there's little children.
So to look at a mistake as a mistake and using the pluses and the minuses of that, not in a judgmental kind of way, but in a information gathering kind of a way. So I think it's a critical part of being able to be buoyant and to be able to bounce back. And so I think the mistakes are just as important as being able to move those experiences with a certain degree of success.
just finding calmness sometimes is important. You know, I think that our anxiety to do well, our seriousness of our, you know, our mission. So some people are so serious, and so then their anxiety can get the best of them.
Humor, joy, you know, any of those things can just help put us in a better place, and to not feel so negative, I think puts us in a more positive place, which again can help you be more, you know, optimistic.
You know, it used to be a nightmare, and I've trained my mind. I do mindfulness and exercise, and prayer helps me turn those nightmares into loveliness.